management, and advertisers.
What's going on, everybody? A very happy Thursday. I had to think about that for a second because I wasn't here yesterday. Welcome to the show, everybody. Pushing the Limits.live, the FMAM dial KSHP. Of course, the YouTube page at PTL Radio Show. Going to try to get to 150,000 subs by this weekend. That would be awesome. It's good to be back in the seat. I want to thank Leonard for doing a great job filling in for me yesterday. He did a wonderful job. So we thank Leonard for being here as well. So we got a lot to get to today, including the fact that Donald Trump, as I mentioned a few days ago, was full of it when he said the war was over between Israel and Hamas. That was a blatant lie. And now Hamas is executing people door to door. And now all of a sudden Donald Trump is panicking about that. They've broken the ceasefire, which I told you would happen within just a couple days. I thought it might last a few weeks. So we're going to certainly get to that. Mike Johnson making more excuses for the government shutdown, and MAGA Republicans already attacking those who plan to peacefully protest for these No Kings rallies this Saturday. But before we get to all this, I was very concerned and very worried about my friend Robbie Roadsteamer, because the other day he posted some video, and others posted video online as well, of him getting arrested for doing absolutely nothing wrong than what he normally always does, singing songs, dressed up as a giraffe. It's absolutely insane. I want to play the video before we introduce Robbie to come on the show. This is Robbie Roadsteamer getting arrested by ICE agents the other day in Portland. Watch this.
It's about peace and love. It's about rock and roll instead of life. If you hate brown people and you are a Nazi, come on, ICE, leave Portland. Yeah, why don't you come out with your super soaker? Huh? Oh, here they come. They're not ready for primetime players. Woo! Demolition.
Leave him alone. What are you doing? He's talking? He's just talking.
Boo!
Absolutely and positively insane. That guy, my friend Robbie Roadsteamer, is joining us right now on the show. Robbie, first of all, thank you for joining us. How are you doing, by the way? Are you doing okay after that?
I'm living the dream, you know. I put up a video this morning, Brian, where it also shows that the ICE snipers were teeing off on me, like 8 shots at me. It looks like John Rambo, you know. So that was the part that really hurt, because I mean that stuff was military grade pepper balls. When I got to the airport, I got on the plane, I opened my bag like 3 inches to get a battery out, and several people started gagging, and I'm like, oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yeah. No, the whole thing was just, you know, they were testing the man. You know, a man that wanted to go into, Portland, Oregon, and make the new Coachella. That's what we got here. There was sex in the streets. We're having a great time up in Portland, Oregon, man. Vegan mac and cheese on the street corners. We have the tent set up. It's like Occupy, only you don't have to wear a stupid-ass V for Vendetta mask and talk like, join us underground while we listen to 9 Inch Nails and Stabbing Westwood.
Hey, I like those bands, Robbie. But no, in all seriousness, you show up and you're doing what you normally do, right? This wasn't anything different. And then all of a sudden, I think you had called the ICE agents Nazis or whatever, but that's freedom of speech. That's your right to do that. You're dressed up in a giraffe. You're no threat to anybody. What was the first explanation? I guess my first question is, what was going through your mind the moment they turned your speaker off and you were arrested? Like, what's going through your mind when you're handcuffed at that point?
You know, at that point, man, it's like the same thing. You know, I stormed Steve Bannon and he had his handlers come out. Right. You know, I love the Oliver Stone movie, The Doors. And when Jim gets arrested and like Val Kilmer, that's how I feel. I feel sexy. I'm like, oh my God, they actually did this to you. And I mean, I didn't break character. I'm going in there and I'm like, oh, are you guys going to use the soap? Are you going to use the lime and the hoses on me? Are you going to go up to the second knuckle, soldier? And they, a couple of them started cracking up. Win the room over, you win your freedom.
What's amazing to me, well, let me ask you this. What's the first explanation they gave to you? They're bringing you in the ICE facility, right?
Sorry, just to interrupt. I'm sorry I'm not wearing the giraffe onesie. That's now evidence. It is now in an evidence bag.
Are you serious?
No, I have lawyers. They are all excited, man. We got the kill shots from the roof on video, and the stuff is so toxic, and it's all over the outfit. I had to store it in a plastic bag in a backpack, and that's what we're bringing in, man. So
what was their explanation? Because you're on public property, right? You're not on private property. So what was their explanation for arresting you?
Well, you got to understand the real reason why they arrested me was I was trolling their snipers. If you watch the video today, everybody's gagging, coughing. I'm out there like Robert Duvall in Apocalypse Now. I love the smell of pepper balls in the morning. Tastes like freedom. And my God, they brought me in. They tried to do the fear tactics at first. They're like, well, since you did trespass several times over the blue line on federal property, we're going to get you on trespassing. I'm like, first off, I got my videos. I feel like it's Monday Night Football and stuff, where on my camera angles, I clearly obey the officer, and my feet are clearly in bounds, and I'm making a football move with the ball, so it should be a touchdown. And, the bad part about it, Brian, was the fact that a lady came and gave me 2 joints. Like when I did an Instagram story and announced that I was in Portland, like these people in my DMs at the last minute, like, Robbie, I'm coming down. I want to cook for you, Robbie. I want to cook for you. And this lady came down with 2 joints and proceeded to give them to me. And I totally forgot I had one still on me. And the guy, it's like the Big Lebowski. He pulls it out. He's like, what's this, Mr. Road Steamer? And, I also have to footnote that half these guys already knew my act. They all thought I was still in Illinois. Great recon, ICE. I thought you were getting another $100 billion. That's not going to recon, but
you're in the giraffe outfit, which is quite. I mean, I listen. I'm not going to say it's funny, but I didn't like to see you, getting arrested. But I told my producer before the show started, this is actually a good thing for you, Robbie, because number one, I think you're going to make a lot of money. Number two, you're a hero to people on the left and people that are anti-Donald Trump and anti-ICE. And I just think it raises your profile more. You weren't trying to get arrested, right? There's a difference between what you're doing and what these idiots are doing in Portland, trying to get people to scuffle with one another. You weren't trying to get arrested. You were just doing your normal shtick, right?
I'm just a regular protest singer that's just trying to get out there like Tim Chalamet and sing some simple, heartfelt protest songs that I learned on the streets of New Mexico in the carnival. I wasn't going up there to get arrested. Bro, I got hemorrhoids. I got stage 4 polycystic kidney disease. You think I'm in the market to be around a detainment cell?
No, I don't. How long were you in custody, by the way, Robbie?
I'm going to tell the papers, years and stuff, but I'll let you know, it was a little bit over an hour. I really killed the crowd in there. They were dying. I'm like, this guy over here looks like Steven Seagal, hard to kill. And you get that a lot. And then after a while, nobody wanted to crucify me anymore and stuff. So they took me out of the handcuffs, and they ended up, here's the funniest part, they ended up, just giving me a citation. It's longer than a CVS receipt. And basically, it's just failure to obey a law officer. That's all they got me on. And then I wanted to be escorted out of the back. And here's my frame of thinking on that. I wanted the protesters to think I was in there for weeks and stuff. I would have gone to the airport. I told them, hey, if one of these vans out here just wants to give me a quick and dirty to the airport, I'm sure you can catch some brown people there, get a 2-for-1 deal. But let's let these kids think I'm a real Shea Gouvier or whatever. And, let them think that I'm rotting in there. You guys got the jumper cables on the balls, the nipples and stuff. Why do we have to, have these kids have a quick rejoice? And they wouldn't do it. So I went back. What's that?
No, I was just it's hilarious. Go ahead, keep finishing up. You went back.
I was just gonna say afterwards, I went out and they have an old dirty train station. It looked like from the movie Singles with graffiti all over it. And I literally smoked it. They gave me back the joint. And I literally smoked the joint with the Portland Frog and a couple of the other campers. And I'm like, bro, this is the new Haight-Ashbury, Seattle, man. This is Hunter S. Thompson stuff. And we're not even going to have to wear V for Vendetta masks again and do that stuff. We're going to have to just make love in the streets, smoke weed, have vegan mac and cheese and stuff. And, man, I'm telling all these cosplay kids out here, this is the new punk rock. Why waste it paying $190 to get into a convention center just so you can talk to Will Shatner and stuff? You could be out there on the protest front. You can roll all, like D&D, you can roll all your characters' numbers and skill set over to the activist front, and you can make dirty money. Look what I just got this week, campers. It's a lightning ball.
If you're just joining us, by the way, he is Robbie Roadsteamer, my friend, and a very, very funny, the Guantanamo Gator. You see him in all the giraffe outfit, all these different outfits all over the country at these protests. And he was arrested the other day in Portland for, from what I can see, doing nothing wrong other than exercising his First Amendment rights. So this whole thing is a joke. Robbie, do you think it just comes down to a few ICE agents, or as you would say, sniper ICE agents that were just annoyed by you and they said, hey, let's just get this guy on something? You think that's really what it came down to?
Bro, I have the whole Zapruder film up right now, man. Like, you can see me breaking their hearts. Like, I hope that, anybody that's out there can just go to my Instagram, Roadsteamer, and watch this video. Because when they get the sniper up there and stuff, I'm like, oh, here comes a glorified mall security guard. And right when he starts peppering me with the balls, and you see them all around me, dude, it looks like Rambo 2. We get the kill shot and stuff. And I feel like Francis Ford Coppola here and stuff. And the Doors Touch Me just came on, man. It's like, dun, 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 and these balls are coming around me. I'm like, come on. What was the name of that plane? And I think I just broke these guys mentally. And they just, hey, could you go and just tackle him and maybe we can scare him with some low-rent tactics about federal law against pulling weed out of your pocket behind state lines? I don't know, man, but I know I broke them. I broke them when I called them chicken and that was a bad one. And also I called one of them a clown, and I could see, like, I got great shooters, dude. They think they got great shooters on ice, man. I set it up like Dealey Plaza. I had a girl on the grassy knoll. I had another little guy, over by the depository and stuff, and he got this shot of the guy smiling while he's trying to get me. Like, I'm putting up better stuff than Werner Herzog right now, bro.
I have to say, obviously, I'm glad you're okay, but this is not a fun experience, and I hope that they pay for what they did to you because you were exercising your First Amendment rights, and because of a couple idiots that are clowns, and that maybe, it's funny because they call left-wingers snowflakes, but the real snowflakes were the ones that arrested you. I hate to put you on the spot, Robbie, but I'm a big fan of your work. I love the song Mad World, and for those of you that don't know, this is a Tears for Fears remake by Gary Jules. And you were able to add your own lyrics to one of my favorite songs, which is Mad World. So I don't know if there's any way that maybe you can sing a few lyrics for us. I don't know if I
saw the joy in your eyes, and I that's why I grabbed the guitar. And mind you, people, this isn't going to be Nirvana Unplugged because I don't know the song on guitar. I usually do it on a karaoke machine, which has now been administered for evidence because I got a dream team of lawyers. I got F. Lee Bailey, Johnny Cochran. They're all coming out of retirement.
I thought they were dead. Yeah.
Retirement, baby. We're going to get Elon to rehydrate them. They'll be great. All around me are ICE agents going nowhere. Get bright and early to chase brown people. Going nowhere. The tear gas is going up their asses. No expression. Hide my head, I want to use no warrant. No expression. And I find it kind of funny. I find it kind of sad that ICE makes more money than the veterans ever had. I find it hard to tell you. I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very... No. With your head up your two-hole, it's a very, very MAGA world. MAGA world. I do my own fade outs. I don't need a son of a bitch.
I love it. I love it. That is a smash hit right there. You need to do an album, Robbie.
Let's do an album when we're on the NF America tour next week, brother. You know, I'll cut a whole MTV Unplug at the Spear, dude, or Meow Wolf.
So for those of you that don't know, that's right. Me and Mr. Robbie Roadsteamer and Destiny and all the others, October 22nd, Robbie's coming out to Las Vegas. I've been waiting for this day. And Robbie's going to be playing his smash hit songs at UNLV. Hopefully there'll be some MAGAs there. And that'll be at 11 a.m. The festivities start. You can meet Robbie and all the rest of the game. Robbie, I'm looking forward to meeting you as well. I need some selfies.
Oh, yeah. No, we're going to make the MIFs, selfies, tattoos. We're going to hit the studio. We're going to get the guy who sings for Filter out there and stuff to sing, "Hey, man, nice shot." It's a great time for that song, too. You know, the kids are going to love it.
It is. Well, Robbie, I'm glad you're okay. I was a little worried. I'm like, I hope you didn't get banged up too badly. But, you know, let's pretend like you were so you could take as much money as you can from ICE.
I was banged up, dude. I might look good right now because I'm shining around you, man. But those pepper balls, man. I mean, seriously. I got welts on my chest right here and stuff. You can't see because I'm all linked up and stuff. And I got a lot. I have to put it in 2 plastic bags in a backpack in the damn closet. And don't worry, though. I'm getting a dirty mansion with an indoors water slide with LED screens inside of it playing the wormhole from Doctor Who. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine, baby. Let's go. AOC Roadsteamer 28.
Hell yeah. I had to throw one of those in there. I had to do that. Robbie, I'm glad you're somewhat okay. They're going to pay for what they did to you, and you deserve every dollar you get.
All the money in the whole universe.
Robbie, I love you, man. I can't wait to meet you next week. I can't wait to meet you out here in Vegas. We're going to have a great time. I'm glad you're okay. And screw those ICE agents. And you have the right to be out there doing what you did, my friend.
Screw them. From behind, no condom, raw dog. Let's make the MIFs next week. Let's go. Enchiladas. Show me Vegas, baby.
Robbie, I love you, man. I love you.
Love you too, brother.
You're hilarious. I can't wait to see you out here in Vegas. Thanks for joining us, my friend.
We're going to have a lot of fun next week, man. It's going to be like fear and leotards because of the costumes in Vegas next week.
But we're not going to get you in a giraffe, right? Because your attorneys have that, just to be clear.
Bro, I have money, man. Do you not know me? Brad Garrett from, Everybody Loves Raymond, man. Yeah. You know, he dropped like $1,000 on me, dude. I'm getting that overnighted. I'll get another giraffe onesie.
All right.
This thing's much more comfortable. This thing smells like bird shit, but, you know.
I'll be honest with you. I like the giraffe. I like the Guantanamo gator a little bit better.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I had to mix it up because they already had something green up in Portland. I didn't want to just be confused with the frog all day by those Portlandia hipsters. So I switched it up to the Jeffrey Epstein giraffe, which the Capitol Police like better, they told me.
That's okay. Hey, I like them both, to be honest with you, but I'm glad you're okay. That giraffe's going to have to go up in an ice museum one of these days. But I do appreciate, Robbie, you coming on. I can't wait to see you next week, my friend. Stay safe.
It just better be. It's Chernobyl, but you be safe too, man. Much love, and I'll see you next week. Much love. Robbie. Amazing show.
Thank you, Robbie. Love you, pal. We'll see you next week. There you go. The amazing Robbie Roadsteamer, everybody, who was just arrested in Portland a few days ago. And I'm just, every day it doesn't cease to amaze me. In all seriousness now, because that was a lot of fun. It's always fun joining Robbie, but this is also very serious. Here's a guy who's exercising his First Amendment rights. And because you have a couple snowflakes dressed up as ICE agents, just a complete buffoons, who arrested this guy, it's like, what's next, right? It's almost like Donald Trump has his own set of army. You know, if you say anything, doesn't matter whether it's your First Amendment right or not, they're going to arrest you. It's sickening. And I hope Robbie makes a lot of money, by the way. I really mean that. Those idiots that arrested him, it's just so disgraceful and it's so disgusting. I will be taking a quick break and then we'll come back for some clips. But before I do that, I just wanted to quickly explain that Donald Trump was talking about the war being over, right? And I said the other day, I said, this is not going to hold up. I said, I'd be actually shocked if this lasted a few weeks. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Hamas has officially broken the ceasefire. It's only lasted a few days. That's right. There's video, audio. It's all over social media where Hamas going door to door, they were executing people. Now, I don't have the exact number of how many people lost their lives, but there's video of it. Donald Trump knows it. The right knows it. Benjamin Netanyahu knows it for sure. And just a few days ago, when people were saying he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize and that he said there was peace in the Middle East and the war was over, I called him on that nonsense right away. Sadly, I wish I was wrong, but sadly, more innocent people have lost their lives in Israel. So what does Donald Trump do on Truth Social? The same thing Donald Trump did when he said constantly that Vladimir Putin wanted peace. Remember, he still says that. And then every single time Putin executes another airstrike where innocent women and children lose their lives, Donald Trump then goes on social media and goes on Truth Social and says, Vladdy, knock it off, stop it. Well, that's exactly what he's doing here as well. Because just days after he said there was peace in the Middle East and that he, ended this war, and everybody on the MAGA right were calling him a hero, Donald J. Trump put this out on Truth Social today. He put out, if Hamas continues to execute people in Gaza, which was not the deal, we will have no choice but to go in and take them. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I guess that means there's no peace. I guess that means the war isn't over, Mr. President. You were lying. But these MAGA idiots out there are still saying that there's peace in the Middle East and that he ended a war, which was obviously never the case. So we are going to go to break, and when we come back, I'm going to be playing some audio clips for you from the Orange Turd, and you're not going to believe it, and maybe you will, what Caroline Leavitt said about Vladimir Putin and the Democrat Party. It's unbelievable. So I'm very happy to be joined and by my trusted partner, Chapter. If you don't know who Chapter are, this is a company that gives you and reviews every plan nationwide for healthcare coverage to make sure you're on the best one. Now, enrollment has already started. It only goes through December 7th. I know you guys get a lot of robocalls and you're confused. Well, on average, this company, Chapter, saves you up to $1,100 a year on average. And it's completely free. All you got to do is give them a call on the bottom of your screen. You see that number right below there? Give them a call, please. 212-461-4078. And you go to that URL. You could also get information, askchapter.org/limits. So plans change every year. Some even go away. We know that with this government shutdown, everything is up in the air. So please give Chapter a call, risk-free, completely free. They're here to help you and to make sure you're on the best plan. And here's the best part of it. If they think you're on the best plan right now, they're going to tell you to stick with your plan. They're going to give you the best advice they can, and it's some really good advice. Give them a call, bottom of the screen, 212-461-4078, and tell them that I sent you. All right, here's what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, you're not going to believe what Caroline Leavitt is saying about the Democrat Party. She's even stooped to a new low. You're not going to believe it, ladies and gentlemen. We'll play that for you when we come back. A little bit later on in the program, we'll be taking some phone calls. It's good to be back here in the hot seat. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this in 90 seconds. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard.
welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Thursday. I have a couple announcements to make. So the Tim Pool show, I'm supposed to be doing, the Tim Pool, Alex Stein, Myron Gaines. That has been rescheduled. And it's only been rescheduled a few weeks out. And the reason why it's been rescheduled, there are some security issues because I'm supposed to be in Washington, D.C. on Saturday, and that's when the No Kings rally is supposed to be going on. And I would imagine a lot of people that are going to be at that rally are probably not big fans of Tim Pool, Myron Gaines, or Alex Stein. So what they've done is they have, and if you've won tickets on the show, your tickets are still good, November 8th. So just a few weeks out. So the date is Saturday, November 8th. I'll be out there in Washington, D.C., so we've rescheduled that. With Tim Pool and the gang. Also some good news. Remember, I'm debating Alex Stein out there. Alex Stein has agreed to come on this show on Monday. There's going to be some fireworks there. I'll be honest, Alex is a funny guy. But we obviously disagree on politics, and he pranks a lot of Democrats, which is fine. But we're probably going to get into some serious discussion as well. Alex Stein is going to be joining us on the program on Monday. Very popular on social media. He's got a pretty large following. So Mr. Stein will be joining us on the program on Monday, so that will be a lot of fun. As I also mentioned, I'm part of the Un-F America tour. That date has not changed. October 22nd, which is this Wednesday. October 22nd, I'm going to be at UNLV with the guy we just had on the program. Robbie Roadsteamer is going to be out here. Destiny is going to be out here, and everybody else basically from the Un-F America tour are going to be out here October 22nd. We're going to be at the UNLV Amphitheater, which is an indoor-outdoor venue. And I'm going to be starting the festivities and debating some students. And it's going to be an entertaining experience, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I look forward to seeing you all out there. If you want to meet me, the legend Robbie Roadsteamer, of course, as I mentioned, Destiny's going to be out there and some other big names. Mercedes is going to be out there. Not to be confused with the Mercedes from License to Drive. I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember that movie, but that's one of my favorites with Corey Feldman and Corey Haim. But yes, we will be out there October 22nd at UNLV. And that is going to be a lot of fun, and you're all welcome. And that is actually a free event. So we look forward to seeing you guys out there. All right. So, as I mentioned, the war is not over. It never was over. And now Hamas is executing innocent people in the Middle East. Who knows what Benjamin Netanyahu will do next? And again, there's egg on Donald Trump's face because the ceasefire only lasted a few days. Do you remember the last ceasefire that was in effect? And Trump was bragging about that and his sicko fans. And remember, Israel broke that ceasefire. Well, now Hamas has broken this one. So while all this stuff is going on, listen to what Caroline the Liar Levitt said about the Democrat Party. I mean, this is at another level. We hear these Republicans say, stop calling us fascists, stop comparing us to Nazis and all this other stuff. Listen to what Caroline Levitt said earlier today about the Democrat Party. It's so despicable.
That the Democrat Party's main constituency are made up of Hamas terrorists, illegal aliens, and violent criminals. That is who the Democrat Party is catering to, not the Trump administration and not the White House and not the Republican Party, who is standing up for law-abiding Americans, not just across the country, but around the world.
You want to talk about absolutely and positively despicable. Caroline Levitt, the White House press secretary, just said that the Democrat Party is made up of Hamas, terrorists, illegal aliens, and violent criminals. I don't even know where to begin there, but first of all, if you're an illegal alien, you're not allowed to vote. Second of all, to claim that this horrible terrorist group are made up of Democrats is absolutely ridiculous and ludicrous. And to say the main makeup of the Democrat Party are a bunch of violent criminals is so factually inaccurate, and it's so ridiculous, and it's so sick. She is a sick, vile, evil human being. I don't care how many crosses she wears around her neck. Caroline Levitt is despicable. And now we're learning that there's a second meeting with Vladimir Putin because that first meeting went so well when they rolled out the red carpet for him on American soil. That really ended the war, didn't it? And now we're learning of a second meeting that Donald Trump is going to be having because she claims, have a listen to this.
I believe any conditions have changed to make a second meeting with Putin better, more successful than the Alaska meeting?
I think the president is always willing to take a chance at diplomacy. And this war, he has always said, is going to have to end at the negotiating table. And so he's he never gives up, and he's willing to pursue it, and that's what you're hearing from the president today.
Yeah, he's really doing a great job. That first meeting went really well. That alleged peace deal in the Middle East is going really well. Ask the families of those victims who were executed by Hamas how well that peace deal is going. Or ask all the innocent people in Ukraine, the families who have lost loved ones, ending the war in 24 hours. How has Donald Trump done there? What a failure this guy is. The art of the deal, ladies and gentlemen. And boy, here's something to be really proud of. From Caroline Leavitt's lying Christian mouth. Thank God President Putin is congratulating Donald Trump for something that never happened. Have a listen to this.
Very good and productive call between the president and President Putin. They discussed many issues. President Putin congratulated the president for solving peace in the Middle East. They also discussed, of course, the Russia-Ukraine war, and they have agreed to convene a meeting of their high-level staff next week to continue these very important discussions, which may be followed by yet another meeting between President Trump and President Putin.
Oh, great. That first meeting went so well. It really accomplished a lot, embarrassing us on a world stage, throwing out the red carpet for an evil dictator. Yeah, isn't that wonderful, isn't it? So we have Vladimir Putin congratulating Donald Trump for something that never happened, which is peace in the Middle East. They broke the ceasefire in 2 days. Or maybe next she'll talk about how Vladimir Putin says that Donald Trump won the 2020 election. I mean, this is such an embarrassment at every single level. It's unbelievable. Speaking of embarrassments, let's talk a little bit about Mike Johnson. So he was on CNBC earlier today, and now they're going after the No Kings rallies, which, by the way, are going to be made up of largely a contingency of people that care about this country deeply, everyday people, cops, firefighters, brave men and women in uniform, people, hardworking Americans, but yet he's painting the picture that millions of Americans that are going to be protesting throughout the country on Saturday are part of a Hate America rally. Have a listen to this.
How does this end? I do think it has a lot to do with the Hate America rally that'll be on the mall on Saturday. You're going to have all the Antifa and BLM and pro-Hamas. But watch who assembles there. All the Marxists will be on the mall. They can't open the government, apparently, until that rally is over because they can't face the angry mob. So as soon as that's done...
As soon as that's over, you think that there is an impetus or a way to kind of break this by next week?
I think you've got at least, we just need 5 Democrats in the Senate to join and do the right thing with the majority of the Senate that's already there to reopen the government. And then,
yeah, there you go. Attack half the country. We're all terrorists. Yeah, it's Hate America. That's why people are there, because we hate America, you dumbass, you fake Christian you. Now, millions of Americans will be all over the country on Saturday because it's the opposite. We actually love this country, and we hate what you and you Donald Trump sicko fans who wear the Donald Trump knee pads 24/7 are doing to this country. We hate it. We don't hate America. We hate you, and we hate what Donald Trump represents. And here is the gall of Mike Johnson now talking about truth. That's right. The guy who is hiding the Epstein files is now talking about let the truth be on your side. Listen to this.
I say the same things privately that I say publicly. We are consistent, and that's why it's easy for me to stand up here and share the facts. When the simple truth is on your side, you have nothing to hide from. I'm just presenting this to the American people. This is the 4th time we've done that. I hate to drag you all out and go through all the details, but I've got to put on the case over and over because repetition apparently is the key to this. People are starting to recognize this is not a Republican shutdown. It is a Schumer Democrat shutdown. Again, why? Because they needed political cover. It's shameless, it is sad, real people are hurting, and it needs to end. They'll have another opportunity this evening, and I sure pray, and I hope you all will, that a handful of additional common sense people on the Democrat side will change their votes, reopen the government, so we can get back to all these issues as we desperately want to do. Thank you all so much for being here.
Yeah, if you want to get to all the issues, then why don't you sit down with Democrats now? Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, and all the Democrats claiming that you guys will not go to the negotiating table. And by the way, Chuck Schumer, who I rarely defend, I will defend him here. He has grown a backbone, and he wants to make sure that 20 million Americans don't lose their Medicaid coverage. He wants to make sure that when an undocumented immigrant could be losing their life and they need life-saving care in an ER, that they get the health care coverage that they need in order for their lives to be saved. You piece of human garbage, you, Mike Johnson. You lying little fake Christian weasel, you. That's what you are. Speaking of weasels, excuse me. Listen to Barrasso and what he had to say about the No Kings rally. You just heard from Mike Johnson calling basically everybody that's going to be at these rallies across the country, millions of Americans and hardworking Americans that love the country, saying that they're all a bunch of Marxists and pro-Hamas people and BLM, and they're all Antifa, which, by the way, means anti-fascist. I guess that means I'm Antifa also. Listen to what Barrasso had to say about these No Kings rallies.
They have this big I Hate America rally that's this Saturday in Washington and across the country, where you have all these far-left activist groups coming to protest the president and the administration. I mean, that's who's running the party, and Chuck Schumer is completely beholden to them. He has a leash around his neck. They've orchestrated this shutdown, and it has to end, and the American people deserve better than what we're getting from the Democrats right now.
Yeah, that's a lie. Notice how all these Republicans are very scared about these rallies on Saturday. Not because they're scared that they're going to be violent. They're scared because they know millions of Americans have had enough. They're scared because they know the message is going to be sent. They're scared because they know a lot of Americans in this country know the truth. They know that you Republicans are the ones that want to take health care away from millions of Americans. They know that you are the ones that are cutting very important benefits from people in this country that live paycheck to paycheck that desperately need these benefits. They know. They also know that Democrats are the ones that are trying to save these very crucial benefits, whether we're talking about food stamps, food benefits, or Medicaid. And you guys are the ones that are trying to take it away. They know. That's why you guys are scared, and that's why you're trying to attack before the protests even start. But then again, if you beat police officers on January 6th and you were violent, they will call you hostages and patriots, and they'll be totally okay with you guys getting a pardon. But God forbid if you're Robbie Roadsteamer or somebody holding up a sign peacefully protesting, somehow that makes you a part of Hamas. Barrasso is a complete right-wing buffoon. John McGuire is also. And John McGuire is trying to make the case. What many Republicans do, I want you to listen to this statement very closely because they never name names. They say, well, we had a lot of residents in D.C. that were whispering in our ears how happy they were that the National Guard was there. Notice how they never bring up any names or any prominent people. They just say, I had people coming up to me. Well, guess what? MAGA buffoon John McGuire is doing the exact same thing here.
And even in D.C., when the Democrats kept saying, oh, there's no crime here, there were Democrats who said, this is the first time ever that my kids are playing in their backyards. I haven't heard a gunshot in 2 weeks. Or this is the first time that I'm driving down D.C. with my windows down. So we're going to make America safe despite the Democrats.
Listen to this idiot. It's the first time I drove in D.C. with my windows down. I mean, these guys are such idiots. They can't even come up with good lies. Oh, we have all these Democrats that are saying, oh, there's no crime here. My kids will be able to play in their backyard. Name me one prominent Democrat that has said that. Notice how they never name names. Oh, we've had so many people thanking me. Donald Trump will say it. Everywhere I go, there's black people wearing MAGA hats in the streets of Chicago. Really? Show me the pictures of that. What, one or two? Really? There's Democrats, Mr. McGuire, that are telling you their kids can finally play in their backyards? It's a lie. They throw things at a wall. They hope they stick. They just say things that aren't true. McGuire is an idiot. And just to prove to you, if you didn't think so already, here's McGuire talking about Donald Trump allegedly ending 8 wars. Listen to this.
They want to do everything they can to stop President Trump, but he keeps winning. We had an epic week. He solved 8 wars in 8 days. We celebrated the national remembrance of Charlie Kirk, and he got the Presidential Medal of Freedom. He's having success despite the Democrats.
Yeah, he ended 8 wars in 8 days like he got 90 deals in 90 days. You notice how they use these terms, and what wars are you talking about? Well, let's start with the war in the Ukraine. Unfortunately, that war is not over. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the Middle East, where just a few days ago you were saying that Donald Trump deserved the Nobel Peace Prize for bringing peace to the Middle East. He said he ended a war. Not only did the war never end, Hamas has broken a ceasefire in 48 hours. You stupid imbeciles, you. And then you have Donald Trump going on Truth Social earlier today, giving Hamas a slap on the wrist, just like he does with Vladimir Putin. Vladdy, knock it off. Donald J. Trump saying on Truth Social today, if Hamas continues to execute people in Gaza, which was not the deal. I like it how he throws that in there. It's not the deal. Geez, I thought that was the deal. I thought Hamas could continue to execute innocent people. Was not the deal. We will have no choice but to go in there and take them out. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Yeah, right. Just like you're going to sanction Russia, right? Just like you're going to punish Vladimir Putin in Russia. I would not be surprised if Donald Trump blamed Democrats for the Hamas executions that took place. What a joke this guy is. The art of the deal, huh? The art of the deal, isn't it? Yeah, it's the art of the deal. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. What a joke. What an absolute joke this is. So I'll open up the phone lines for anybody that wants to be a part of the conversation. That number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation is 702-221-7283. And again, that number, if you would like to be a part of the show, 702-221-7283. If you're a MAGA supporter, or if you're not a MAGA supporter, you're welcome to call in. I always love hearing from MAGA. And I want to ask all of you out there, particularly those that are Donald Trump supporters, who said that he deserved the Nobel Peace Prize a few days ago, right? Peace in the Middle East. Brian, isn't this a great thing? He ended the war. What do you got to say about that now? What would you say to the families who lost loved ones yesterday as Hamas was going door to door, executing innocent people? What do you have to say to that? I'm just curious. What's your response to that? Everyone was saying he deserved the Nobel Peace Prize. What did he do? What did he do? Again, that number to call, 702-221-7283. The number to call, 702-221-SAVE, is the number to call if you would like to be a part of the conversation. Again, 702-221-SAVE is the number to call. And again, the question to all of you is, what has Donald Trump done? What has he accomplished? He said that he ended the war. I knew that was a lie. I said that on Tuesday. That was a lie. And I also said that this was a ceasefire that would be broken. I thought it would actually take a few weeks. I was wrong. It was broken within a few days. More innocent people losing their lives at the hands of Hamas. Let's start off with a guy by the name of Number. Is that correct? I didn't know that was a name. Number, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
What's up?
I met John Hoffman. I met Senator John Hoffman before he got shot.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat yourself? I'm sorry, sir. I didn't quite understand what you said there.
Okay.
All right, we're going to have to move on to the next call, my friend. I had trouble understanding you. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Dan. Dan is next up on PTL. What's up, Dan? Hi, Dan.
Brian, how's it going?
Good. What's on your mind today?
I just wanted to comment on something that you had said.
Okay.
When you said the war in the Middle East is not over because Hamas is going door to door executing people.
Yeah, that wasn't part of the ceasefire deal. So, part of the ceasefire deal was that Hamas doesn't execute innocent people. You are aware, right, Dan?
Right. No, I agree with that. Okay. I see what you're saying.
Gotcha.
My question to you is, you seem to have criticism that the war is still going on.
Well, yeah, it is.
Have criticism when there's a peace deal signed.
Well, yeah, because there was no peace deal.
Hang on. Since Hamas violated the ceasefire, let me correct myself, the ceasefire, do you think that if it keeps going on, that Trump should take action and eliminate Hamas or allow Israel to do so? Because Israel isn't the one attacking Hamas. And it's crazy because everyone knew this is what Hamas was going to do.
I'm curious what your question is. I never said Israel was responsible for Hamas's actions yesterday.
The war is still going on.
Yes, the war is still going on. Did I say Israel broke the ceasefire this time? Did I blame Israel?
But you said
No. Hold on. What did I say? What did I say?
You said the war is still going on.
Correct. Does that mean I'm blaming Israel right now?
By saying the war is still going on.
So you think by me saying, okay, let me be clear.
Let me finish.
No. You need to listen, because people with all due respect, Dan, I'm happy to have a conversation with you, but you don't listen to what I say. I said multiple times in this show that Hamas broke the ceasefire. So two things could be right at the same time. The war is still going on. Hamas broke the ceasefire. Why is that hard for you to follow, Dan, with respect? Why is that hard for you to follow? Both statements I made are true.
The way you're describing it is like it's a zero-sum game. Like
Okay, now let me describe it again for you. Let me try to help me out. Tell me if you're confused. Donald Trump said the war was over. It was never over. You know why? Because Hamas was still armed and they weren't decimated and they were still in power in many parts of Gaza. Hope I cleared that up for you. Now, hold on. I need you to listen. Okay, tell me where I'm wrong with the statement, where I will repeat myself once again. The war is not over, and Hamas broke the ceasefire. Explain to me where I'm wrong, sir. Go ahead.
Because by saying the war is not over, and by saying the ceasefire was broken, you're implying that both parties are still at conflict.
Let me repeat myself again for a fourth time. And yeah, you're damn right. They're still. You're damn right, sir. Sir, I let you speak. Now it's my turn. Okay, sir. The problem is you don't know how to listen. I listen. Don't oh my God me. Okay, this has nothing to do with God, and it has everything with you having MAGA wax in your ears. So pay attention. I'm going to say it again. The war was never over. There was still a conflict between Hamas and Israel. The reason why this time around is because Hamas broke the ceasefire. They executed innocent people. So to say that there isn't still a conflict makes you an imbecile. And to say that I'm not implying something when I'm saying it now for a fifth time, please listen. Hamas broke the ceasefire. The war is still going on. What part of that do you not understand? I'm trying to speak very slowly. Let me guess, you're a Trump supporter. Let me guess, you're a Trump supporter. Dan, are you a Trump supporter, Dan?
I'm actually a registered independent.
Okay, good. But who did you vote for?
And I supported Obama. I didn't
ask you. I did not ask you who you supported 4 or 8 years ago. Dan, I'm staying very much on topic to try to prove that people who voted for Donald Trump, many of them are imbeciles. No, we're staying on topic. Who did you vote for in 2024? You have TFS Trump. You have Trump fellatio syndrome. Answer my question, dumbass. Who did you vote for in 2024? I didn't ask who you voted for 8 years ago. I didn't ask who you voted for 12 years ago. Who did you vote for? Now, we all know the answer because you're a moron, but just explain to the world and the people that are listening, who did you vote for? Answer the question. In 2024, did you vote for Kamala Harris or did you vote for Donald Trump? Why won't you answer that?
I voted for Donald Trump.
What a shocker. Pot him down. What a shocker that a moron who voted for Donald Trump thinks that when I say the war isn't over, that I'm blaming Israel for that right now. What a moron. When I say Hamas broke the ceasefire, but somehow he wants to reference that to me blaming Israel. Sir, you're just a complete jackass. I knew you were a Trump supporter the first second you started talking. Let me try to go slow for you one more time, Dan, because you sound like you're very, very special. And by the way, by special, I don't mean that in a positive note, okay? You see, sir, Israel and Hamas are in something called a conflict and or a war. You see, sir, Donald Trump said he ended the war. Let's try to go very slowly, sir, and answer some of my questions if you can. Okay? I'm going to speak very slowly for you, so even somebody like you might be able to understand. They're yes or no answers, okay? I don't need to hear you roll out a bunch of irrelevant things. I don't care if you didn't vote for Obama or Hillary. So as we pod you back up, sir, my question to you is, did Donald Trump end the war, yes or no? If you don't answer my questions, the conversation, yes or no? Did Donald Trump end the war, yes or no? Answer the question or the conversation's over. The question was not about a ceasefire. I need you to focus, sir, okay? I didn't use the term ceasefire in my question, so let's try this again. I know you're a MAGA supporter and you struggle answering very basic. No, sir, pot him down again. I don't hear about your explanation. It's a yes or no answer. I'll ask it one more time, and if you don't answer the question, you can go screw yourself, okay? Or pleasure yourself to your Donald Trump poster, one or the other. I guess it's the same thing. So here it goes, sir. You ready? The question has nothing to do with a ceasefire. Did Donald Trump end the war like he said he did 2 days ago? Is there peace in the Middle East? And did Donald Trump end the war? Yes or no, you MAGA buffoon? Yes or no?
There is peace everywhere in the Middle East.
Bye-bye. Have a nice day. Notice how they can't answer a very basic question. By the way, sir, the answer is no. Not only are you not capable of answering a question, but you might be the dumbest MAGA caller that's ever called into this show. Somehow me saying the war isn't over insinuates that it's Israel's fault, which is absurd. Secondly, I've said 10 times in this conversation that Hamas are the ones that broke this ceasefire. And thirdly, because you look up to your orange turd, adjudicated, abusive leader in Donald Trump, you won't answer the very basic question. Let me help you out, sir. Okay? By the way, I'm not sure anybody could help you, but I'm going to try here. You see, Donald Trump lied to the American people, and he said the war was over. It's not. Donald Trump said there was peace in the Middle East 2 days ago, and idiots like you said he deserved the Nobel Peace Prize. There is no peace in the Middle East right now. Hamas is executing innocent people, and the war is not over. I'm glad I can give you this history lesson, sir. Thank you so much for calling in and proving how ignorant you Trump supporters truly are. What a shocker. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. Who are we going to next here? Let's go to Julie. Julie is next on PTL. Hello, Julie. And I think we lost Julie. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Jim. Jim is next up on PTL. Hey, Jim, what's going on?
As I was saying, Ryan, you can't get rid of me this easy.
I'm sorry.
There's peace in the Middle East.
Come again, Jim. I did not hear what you just said.
Sorry, I was yelling at someone. One of the comments you made earlier, you took issue with Mike Johnson saying the anti-America rally.
No,
something like that, right?
No, it's not something like that. Let's try to again. I think we have another Trump supporter on the line here, which is totally. I'll try to fix things up for you. Yeah. I that's not what he said. Actually, he said it was the Hate America rally. So just to.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So, do you think it's appropriate for him? So, you don't think it's appropriate for him to say that this is a Hate America rally, right?
I don't think it's appropriate for Well, first of all, it's not Hate America. I know a lot of people, including myself, that love this country that will be at these rallies, not because we hate America, because I don't, because I love America and I hate what Donald Trump is doing to this country. So, no, to answer your question, sir, no.
So, would you say it's equally inappropriate?
By the way, can I just ask you a question, sir? What kind of loser has nothing better to do than to call back into the show after he gets destroyed and use another name?
I'm Leonard's #1 fan.
Okay, I need you to answer. I need you to answer this for me, okay? What kind of loser has to call into a show back to back after he gets owned and use a different name? That makes you a loser, Dan. You're a loser, Dan. Just repeat after me. Hi, I'm Dan. I need you to repeat after me. Hi, I'm Dan. I'm a MAGA loser with a very uneducated resume, and I'm a moron. Repeat after me, Dan. You're a moron. There's other people on the line. You're wasting my time, Dan. Dan, you're wasting my time. Go screw yourself. 702-221-7283. It's kind of like you're in an AAA meeting or something, only you're in a MAGA meeting, right? If that was like a MAGA meeting and you're trying to admit that you're the one with the Trump fellatio syndrome, hi, I'm Dan. I'm a MAGA buffoon, and I call into radio shows back to back after I got owned the first time because I want to get owned a second time. Dan, you're a pathetic loser. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Scott. Scott is next up on PTL. Hey, Scott, thanks for calling in. What's on your mind, man? Hi, Scott.
Hey, how you doing? I wasn't going to call in till you said what has Trump done for America. So here's what he's done for America. He exposed us to the world as the dirty country we are. We're no better than any other country. He exposed our racism. He took mostly old and young people, scared them because they're uneducated, and a lot of them are probably inbred. And he got them to think that, he gave them a voice, the voice of the voiceless, So, I think that he did us a favor by now if you didn't know what America was about from day one, now you know. And I
think I can I hear what you're saying. I think I can simplify that a little bit just by saying I think Donald Trump exposed how many stupid people there are in this country.
Right. So I did have one question about the Hamas thing because I'm not up on it. Were they killing their own people,
No.
or were they killing Israelis?
My understanding is both. What they did was they executed people that were allegedly in Hamas that were speaking negatively about them, and they also executed some innocent Israelis. So they've done a little bit of both. There's actually video of it. Unfortunately, I had to see some of those videos, and some of the people that were executed, I can guarantee you, were not Hamas.
One more thing before you let me go. People might not know that actually the two Koreas are still at war because they signed an armistice and not a peace treaty.
Yeah.
And after World War I, we signed an armistice, and then eventually they created a peace treaty. So until you have a peace treaty, you're still at war. So until Hamas and Israel sign a peace treaty, they're still officially at war.
Well, my saying is, I think we need to turn Hamas into hummus. That's my saying. I appreciate the call, my friend. Thank you. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Peter. Peter is next up on PTL. Hey, Peter, what's going on? What's up, Peter?
Hey, Brian. How's it going?
Hey, good. What's going on, man?
I always love when you have Robbie on.
Robbie's the best.
What are you looking forward? Yeah. What are you looking forward to the most in meeting him in person?
I just kind of want to have a beer with the guy. And the thing is, people don't know this about Robbie. Some don't. He's extremely intelligent. And he's very well spoken. Obviously, when he's in his character, he's very funny. But I'm actually looking forward to getting to know the real Robbie Roadsteamer, not the one that goes in the costumes, who's hilarious. But I'm looking forward to having a conversation because he's very intelligent. I've had conversations like that with him off the air on the phone. He's a really funny guy, but he's also extremely well spoken and intelligent. So I'm looking forward to getting to know the Robbie Roadsteamer behind the scenes.
I guess that's a good question too. Like, who, if you could have a beer with anybody, who would it be? That'd be a good candidate. So
well, I can tell you, it probably wouldn't be Donald Trump. It probably wouldn't be Uday and Kusei, also known as Eric and Don Jr. It wouldn't be Stephen Miller. Who would I want to? Are you talking politics or just anybody?
Yeah, I mean, in general, I think Robbie's like that. That would be a good answer too. Yeah. But since you brought it up, like
he's definitely
in general, who would you?
He's definitely up there. Jimmy Kimmel, maybe Larry David, Howard Stern. Those are my three right now. That could change, but right now.
Yeah.
All right, my friend.
Good one.
Thank you for the call, my friend. I appreciate it. Thank you. Going to the YouTube super chat. No money. Brian, Dan the phone is in love with you. You have no idea how much and what he would do to be with you. Well, I don't want to know no money. I really don't want to know. I don't want to know the answer to that. But by the way, in the YouTube super chat, your questions and comments could be heard with a donation. Rob says Mike Johnson's office will not even respond to me when I tell them to use the filibuster to open the government themselves. Those cowards, he's a tool. Well, Rob, I agree with you. He's an absolute tool. He won't listen to you or anybody else. The only person he listens to is Donald Trump. That's it. 702-221-7283. Let's go to X. X is next up on PTL. Hello, X.
Oh, hello.
Hi, X. What's on your mind today?
Oh, am I speaking with Brian?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Oh, speaking with Brian. Hey, Brian, what I wanted to ask you was, again, as a Richard Nixon fan, there's a few things that Donald Trump has actually accomplished. The Lincoln Riley Act in the border, he's accomplished that one.
Okay, so let's hold on. I'll let you finish, but I don't want you to list like 5 things because then I'm going to forget. Okay, so let's try to go one at a time. He's done a good job with the border. Okay, so let's talk about immigration policy because that I would assume that's what you're talking about when it comes to the border and immigration. Are you okay? And I've asked people this question before because this is part of immigration policy with agents across the country not identifying themselves, arresting people that are citizens, arresting people that are not breaking the law. Are you okay with people getting tackled and arrested that are seeking asylum outside of courtrooms? That's part of his immigration policy. Are you okay with that?
What's the law? What's the law? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the law is
talking about Lincoln Riley Act.
Okay, hold on. You mentioned immigration, not me. You brought up the word immigration, not me. Okay, so we'll get to Lincoln Riley in a moment. Okay, let's talk about immigration, and then I'm happy to talk about Lincoln Riley. Are you okay with ICE agents not identifying themselves across the country, arresting citizens in some cases for doing absolutely nothing wrong, arresting people outside of courtrooms, sending people to El Salvador prisons and high maximum security prisons where they weren't even born in their country of origin, people that are non-violent criminals. Are you okay with that?
If the country's refusing to take them in and stuff like that, like, they have
that is not what they have done. The people, many of whom were sent to an El Salvador prison, they were not offered to be sent to the country of their origin. So what you're saying is not.
It's only Abrigo Garcia, and that one is like,
Where's Garcia from? Where's Garcia from? Where's Garcia from?
I haven't researched that one.
So why are you bringing up his name then? I'm trying to make up a point. Garcia was. Why are you bringing up his name? I just told you that people are being deported to their countries where they're not from, some high maximum securities like El Salvador. Garcia is one of them. Are you okay with non-violent criminals, people that have been not in this country legally, which is, by the way, not a felony? Are you okay with them being sent to high? Right. I understand it's illegal. Okay. Okay. So let me phrase it.
You would have a different mind.
Okay. Let me. No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. My opinions wouldn't change one iota. No, I wouldn't. You have no idea what you're talking about. Why don't you answer my question? Are you okay with somebody who commits a misdemeanor being sent to a high maximum security prison? Are you okay with that? Answer the question. Why won't you answer?
Is already.
Will you please
I've
answer?
Already answered your question.
No,
I've already answered
no,
your
you
question.
haven't. Yes, it's a yes or no answer. Are you okay with people that have never committed a violent crime in their life, misdemeanors, sent to high maximum security prisons that are not even the country of their origin? Yes or no? Yes or no? Stop wasting. I didn't ask you about the worst people. It's a yes.
That's what I'm saying.
No, you're going to answer my question. No. This is what I'm saying. You're going to answer my. No, stop talking.
No, I'm not.
X, stop talking. X, stop talking. You're going to answer my question, yes or no, and then I'm happy to talk to you about Lincoln Riley. You're the one who brought up immigration. You said you're happy with his immigration policy. So my question to you is, and now I'm asking it for an 8th time, it's a yes or no answer. Are you okay?
Yes or no answer.
I need you to be quiet and I need you to answer. Are you okay with non-violent criminals who've never been convicted of a crime in their... Will you be quiet? Will you be quiet? Yes, it is. 60% of the people, including... You have no idea what you're talking about and you keep talking. Will you please listen? Over 60% of the people that were sent to the El Salvador prison are non-violent criminals. Over 60% of people that are being sent to other countries, that are being deported, are non-violent criminals. I will ask you the same question again for the 10th time.
They've had a choice to go home.
I'm not asking you if they had a choice to go home. Listen to my question as I ask it for an 11th time.
It's a waste of time. I'm saying.
No, I think you're a waste of time. Pot him down again. You're the one who brought up immigration. You're driving my producer nuts and you're driving me nuts because you won't answer a basic question. I'm going to give you, and then he hangs up the phone. What an imbecile. X, you're an imbecile. You want to talk about Lincoln Riley? Why don't we talk about all the people who sadly lost their lives under the Donald Trump administration first go around? But you don't want to talk about them. You want to talk about Lincoln Riley. Yes, I think it's horrible when anybody is the victim of a crime that is an innocent person. Lincoln Riley sadly was one of them. But that doesn't mean we treat all undocumented immigrants like garbage. That doesn't mean we treat all undocumented immigrants like animals. So you, just like Donald Trump, believe in the nonsense that when somebody brings up Lincoln Riley, you want to paint the picture that all undocumented immigrants are criminals that are going to kidnap your kids. That's not the case. So your question is irrelevant. I don't condone any violence from anybody. And if you're a violent criminal, yes, I hope you are deported. But you wouldn't answer my question because you know it's wrong. If you're a nonviolent criminal, you should not be sent to high maximum security prisons. Everybody has the right to due process. But the reason why you won't answer that question is because you're an imbecile and you're a waste of my time. X, you're a waste of my time. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. By the way, X, I wish you would get deported. What do you think about that? I wish they'd send you to an El Salvador prison. Would be have one less idiot in this country. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. Let's see here. Let's go to Chris. Chris is next up on PTL. Hey, Chris, what's going on? Hi, Chris. Go right ahead.
Hey, Brian. How you doing today?
Hey, doing all right. What's up, man?
So I got a couple things and get your feeling on them. One, after World War II in Germany, there was the Nuremberg trials. Do you think anything like that would happen for any of the current people who are ruining our country, aka Republicans, after 2029 if a Democrat gets in because of the massive amount of damage they've done? And two, I feel that with the healthcare issue, with people that are going to perish from this, that there's going to be some radicalized people from that on the right, because they're already, off kilter. They might go into DC and who knows what, because they're going to be so disillusioned with it. What do you think on those two?
I hope not, but I will say this: I think Saturday is going to be a good start. Well, of course, I'm talking about the No Kings Bright. That's a good start. So let's start peaceful protest. And listen, if the right are the ones that are agitators, and if the right are the ones that are going to start up with the violent acts, which, by the way, I hope don't happen, but we need to be clear on that. Everybody needs to be peaceful. There's nothing wrong with being passionate, and I have no reason to believe that's not going to happen on Saturday. So I think it's a really good start. Do I think it gets to the level, to the extent that you're speaking of? I hope not. I don't know. I guess that's my answer. But, I don't care. I mean, let's have these protests a couple times a month until Republicans have the pressure and they need to do something. But yeah.
I think Trump's going to cry, because that's what he's itching to invoke the Insurrection Act. I don't know if you ever heard of Brian Tyler Cohen. I watched a video with him that he did today. Mm-hmm. He's a progressive podcaster, and he was like, they're going to find a way to invoke it, because he does not want elections. Because if he can't cheat through the voting and he can't cheat with the gerrymandering, he's going to just cancel the elections, and the martial law gets.
I am not going to say you're wrong. I'm not going to say that. Listen, there were a lot of people after Donald Trump, in the middle of Donald Trump's first administration, that were saying he's never going to leave the White House. And I'm like, oh, come on. And it turned out that they were right. I mean, he tried to stay in the White House.
They were trying to say that Barack Obama was never going to leave. I was like, you know what? My whole thing is, if Trump tries to run in 2028, then that means Barack Obama should get to run. And if he did, he would sit there and he would win. What he should do is he has Hillary Clinton as his running mate, wins, resigns, gives the presidency to Hillary Clinton, and then Hillary has Kamala be vice president. That would make him cry so hard. It'd be hilarious.
It would be. I think what would be even more hilarious is if we deported everybody in the Trump administration to Gaza right now and have them live there for a little while. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Joel. Joel is next up on PTL. Hey, Joel, what's going on?
Yeah, hi. I'm calling. It's pretty obvious to me that they're trying to get people riled up enough to get the troops in the streets, the riot act. Mm-hmm. They sacrificed the firemen. That didn't work. Now they've sacrificed Kirk. That's not working too well.
Yeah.
So who's next? It has to be a big name. Put in the crosshairs to get the people riled up so they can move the troops in.
Are you saying that you think the Republicans were behind the assassination of Charlie Kirk? Is that what you're saying?
The people standing behind the Republicans, the real Project 2025 people.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So are you saying there's going to be a quote unquote another sacrifice of a Republican to get people riled up? I'm just trying to, I want to follow you correctly, sir.
How else can you get people riled up enough to hit the streets to bring the troops in?
Well, you could lie. I mean, that's what Donald Trump did about the 2020 election, and that's why we had January 6th. So I think there are other ways of doing it.
It's got to be a shocker.
Well, I hope that nothing bad happens on Saturday. Let me start off by saying that.
I'm not talking about Saturday. I'm talking about
I know what you're saying.
In the long run.
Well, I know what you're saying.
I'll tell you one thing. If I was a man in a high place who a lot of people follow and get a little crazy over, I kind of watch my back.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen. I understand where you're going with that. I hope it doesn't get to that point. I know you weren't referring to Saturday, but what I'm specifically speaking about is a lot of good Americans, people who care about this country, are going to be protesting peacefully on Saturday. And I hope that there are no disturbances. I hope that there's no violence. And I hope that MAGA Republicans don't get involved, or at least people on the far fringe right. YouTube Super Chat, Kim says, Brian, I would love it if you would have Hawk, who's an independent, or Jesse Dollamore on your show. Well, I've had Jesse on the show before, Kim, and I would love to get Jesse back on the program, and maybe I'll ask him to come back on. I'm sure he would. Jesse's a really good guy, and I've really appreciated his time. He's a really good dude, and I watch his YouTube channel all the time. So we'll definitely, I'm definitely open to that. No question about it. Brian also says, tell the people about Molly Tibbetts every single time they mention Laken Riley. You are so 150% correct, Brian. Molly Tibbetts was brutally executed by an undocumented immigrant under the Donald Trump administration first go around. Why didn't we have a Molly Tibbetts Act passed through Congress? Because Donald Trump didn't talk about it under his watch. That's why. Very good point you bring up, Brian, and I completely agree with you on that. Many people on the far right don't even know who Molly Tibbetts is, but they know who Lincoln Riley is. Let's go to Debbie. Debbie is next up on PTL. Hey, Debbie, what's going on?
Hi, I have a question for you, Brian.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's still too many people that are living too comfortable under this administration and haven't spoken up yet? I mean, I just don't understand why people are not speaking up more.
I think that there's a lot of people that are afraid. I think that there's a lot of people that, and quite frankly, I understand. There's a lot of people that might have people that are undocumented in their family that are afraid to speak out. There's people in this country that feel like they don't have any power, that the people who are in charge are not out for their own best interest, and they're afraid. There's people in the media that are afraid. There's people in the media that are paying out Donald Trump in these lawsuits because they're afraid. This is a dictatorship. This is an oligarchy. So, that, I think in most cases, there's a lot of people that are afraid to speak out. That's what I think.
So you don't think that it's not affecting them economy-wise? Like they're okay still working and they're able to buy groceries?
No. I think there's a lot of people that are struggling. There's a lot of people that can't afford to put food on the table. There's a lot of people that are scared that they're going to lose their health care benefits and their food stamps. There's a lot of people out there that are hurting badly. We're headed towards a recession. There's no question about that. I really think that they feel like they're voiceless. They feel like they don't have, nobody's going to listen to them. That's why I always open up the phone lines here every day. I always want to give people a platform, but that's what I think it is. I think a lot of people are scared. They're scared if they have a job and maybe their boss is a Trump supporter. Look at what happened to the people that spoke out against Charlie Kirk. Listen, I don't agree with all of them. I think some of the people that were celebrating his death, that was wrong of them to do. But that's just another example where you can speak your mind, which I don't always condone, but people are afraid they're going to lose their jobs. If somebody goes on social media and says Trump is an awful human being or Trump is an adjudicated abuser, they're afraid that they might lose their jobs. I mean, those are the times that we're living in today. I really think a lot of these people are very scared.
So it's more being afraid than economic-wise.
Yes, that's
economy-wise.
Correct. That's what I think.
All right.
Here. Yeah, that's truly what I believe and what I think, and I appreciate. It's a good question that you asked, but I do think a lot of people are scared. Going back to the YouTube super chat, Nim says you should get Jennifer Welsh on sometime. Did you see her talking to Cory Booker? No, I did not. I will have to check that out. Shoot me over an email with that, and I'll definitely check it out, Nim. I appreciate your support. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Trish the Dish. Trish, what's going on? Hi, Trish. Are you there?
Yes.
Hi, Trish. Go right ahead. Trish? Trish, are you there?
Hello?
Yes, Trish. Go right ahead.
Yes.
You're on the air. Go right ahead.
Okay. Brian, I set my alarm at 3 o'clock every day to listen to you.
Oh, well, thank you. That's very sweet of you. Thank you, my dear. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay. This is one thing I want to warn everyone about Saturday, Brian. Tell me what you think about this.
Okay.
I do believe that there will be planted people there posing this that will incite violence. So the Republicans could say, look what they've done, blah, blah, blah. And what do you think about that? So I'm very concerned.
So there has to be a lot of due diligence with security, and people have to be aware. I hope that's not the case. We know that there's going to be some Trump supporters and some agitators in the crowd. We know that's going to happen. It's just a matter of being mindful and being aware. I hope nothing bad happens on Saturday, but people have to do their due diligence and be careful and watch their back.
Yeah, but how do you get past that? Yes, of course they're going to be Trump supporters. I'm not saying that. I'm going to say they're going to be Trump supporters disguised as Democrats and creating violence.
Well, that could happen, but that can't deter people from coming out. It can't deter people from getting out there and your voice being heard. If in fact that is the case and that there are going to be people out there that are going to be agitators, I would imagine at all these rallies, there's going to be security. There's going to be law enforcement. So if anybody sees something strange or sees something odd, they have to speak out. They have to contact law enforcement. If you see something odd or see something strange, you have to talk about it. It's kind of like after 9/11, right? When we were flying again. Everybody was saying, if you see something strange, report it to the authorities, whether it's in the airport. We still do that now. The same thing happens in these rallies across the country, which is if you see something out of the ordinary. And when I mean out of the ordinary, I'm not talking about somebody dressed up like Robbie Roadsteamer or a frog. If you see something that is concerning or strange, you have to contact the authorities, contact somebody there. Do your due diligence. I think that's the best thing you can do as an American, and it can't deter any of us from getting out there during these No Kings rallies. And by the way, it's not a hate America rally. It's the opposite of that. I think it's a love America and hate what Donald Trump is doing to this country. That's what I would call it. All right, let's go to Dave. Dave is next up on PTL. Hey, Dave, what's going on, man?
Hey, Brian. Thanks for taking my call, man. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Hey, I'm going to tell you 2 points I want to make. I tell you one thing. Those damn wussies, if I can use that word, Democrats, better not back down on this health care. They better not back down at all and try to give in and then say, oh, we surrender, because I am so pissed off that Barack Obama took 50 years. It took 50 years, yes, 50 years, to get the Affordable Care Act. 50 years. I don't want them to touch that Affordable Care Act at all. Because if they do that, then it's going to be harder and harder and years to put it back the way it was if it goes back and forth from one party to another. Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican. It's going to have to take the full House, the Senate, and the White House to get it back to where it is. Especially we got stupid voters who are going to put either Republican senator or Republican House or Democrat House or Senate or Democrat senator. We can't have. We took the full party to do this, which is the Democrats to get this done.
Yeah.
Or basically overall, I don't want them to back down at all. I want them to say, something. I understand and I get it. No, I understand. I get it that some of these people need their checks. The government needed to pay bills, but it's either that or you don't have health care. You won't have it. You won't get let me tell you, and I know what it was like, because when I was, if the premiums were, let's say, for example, the premiums are about $700, you need those subsidies because the state will end up paying half of that, 50%, $300, $350, and you pay your $350 at any cost, and they kick in their subsidies. And some of these people, if you don't have any health care, you're going to die. And second of all, going to the rally situation, I will bet my life on this, that some stupid Republican, some people out there are going to go out and say something. And even though that the Democrats in the rally has kept it calm, has done nothing, that they're going to go ahead and say, see, somebody spit at ice. Oh, somebody threw rocks at them.
Right.
They're going to lie to make the Democrats look bad, or the people that are who basically.
That's what they did. Let me tell you something.
That's what they do all the time.
That's what they did during the Black Lives Matter protests. Listen, there were agitators, people, some of whom were not black even, and they're showing up to these BLM protests as agitators. But there were tens of millions of people that peacefully protested during these BLM protests. Yes, there was a very small percentage of people that did some violent things and some horrible things, but the Republicans want to paint the BLM protest as all being violent. That's what they try to do. Where the fact of the matter is, if you're a white supremacist who shows up on the Capitol on January 6th and you beat up cops, somehow that makes you a hostage and a patriot. But if you happen to be an African American that's protesting during a BLM protest, automatically you're a thug if you're just there. And they're already setting it up for all these No Kings protests on Saturday. On Saturday, they're all setting up all these people that are going to, and I would imagine the majority of them are going to be good, hardworking Americans who love America, but they're painting everybody out to be pro-Hamas people and Antifa people, Marxists. They're lying. They're lying. You know, they're doing the same thing they did during the Black Lives Matter protest. Same thing.
Sure. And, you know, are you still there?
Yeah.
You know, okay. And you know, my other point was they're just like what you're just saying. Exactly, absolutely right. Remember the cop that put his knee on
Derek Chauvin,
on the black dude.
Yep.
Remember that?
Derek Chauvin.
Remember that he did that?
Yep.
And remember that kid that went out in the street with a gun and shot everybody? He shot some people. They didn't bring that up. They remember that he had a kid that went around. I couldn't believe it.
Let me tell you something to what you're referring to. They're so stupid. I was having a conversation with a very nice couple yesterday. Wife was a very nice lady, Trump supporter. Didn't get into any disputes with her or arguments or anything. And her husband says to me, "Why don't you like Donald Trump?" Husband was also a huge Trump supporter. And I started off like I normally do, talking about how, well, I don't like to vote for bad people. He's like, "Why is Donald Trump a bad person?" Well, the first thing I brought up is his liable sexual abuse. And the husband says, "Do you really think that a billionaire would commit sexual abuse like that?" And I looked at him and I said, "Do you think Harvey Weinstein is innocent? Do you think Bill Cosby is innocent?" And I named a few others that are extremely wealthy people. And then he looks at me with this blank stare. His wife starts giggling a little bit. And he's like, "Oh, okay, I guess you're right there." And I'm like, think about that for a moment. There are Trump supporters in this country that do not believe Donald Trump ever abused a woman because he has a lot of money. In fact, I would go the alternate route. If you have a lot of money, the chances are you might have a better chance of doing something to a woman because you think you have power, because money equals power to you and you can do whatever you want. But people are so stupid in this country. Yes, the guy that I was talking to didn't seem like he was the brightest bulb on the planet. Seemed like a nice guy, not very bright. People are very, very ill-informed and they're brainwashed. Thank you, Lady Debug in the YouTube Super Chat, who says, "Brian, thank you for having the people a place to express themselves. We appreciate you." Well, thank you, Lady Debug. I appreciate you, and I wouldn't have it any other way. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the show. Let's go to Steve. Steve is next on PTL. Hello, Steve. Hi, Steve. Are you there?
Yes, sir, I am.
Hi, Steve. Go right ahead.
Did you hear about the racist text message among the young Republicans?
Yeah, you know, I'm glad you brought that up, Steve, because I haven't really talked about that a lot. And I'm glad you mentioned it, Steve, because I do want to talk to you about this. There's a lot of MAGA Republicans out there that are saying this is no big deal. It's just a chat. But here's what I will say to that, Steve, and then I want to get your thoughts on this. When younger generation people or Charlie Kirk type fans, they watch Newsmax, they watch OAN, they listen to Charlie Kirk for years, this is what they become. They become people who downplay the Holocaust. They become people who use the N-word and they used homophobic slurs. Ladies and gentlemen, it's called white supremacy. And people on the right that are saying this whole chat scandal is not a big deal, I ask all of you as parents, if you are one, if your kid talked like that, would you have a problem with it? If the answer is no, then you're a racist and you're a bigot. And chances are you voted for Donald Trump. If you say, yes, I would take issue to it, then good. Then that's why we take issue to it, because it's despicable, it's disgusting, and these aren't teenagers or you know, early 20-somethings that are just goofing off. When you use the N-word and you're white and you describe them you know, in horrific terms, these are what young white Republicans sound like when they're influenced by the Charlie Kirk types. That's why this is so dangerous, sir. Go ahead. Steve, are you still there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts. Go ahead.
You hear all the time they claim that they tired of being called racist and bigots, but apparently they're not tired of being racist and bigots.
Well, that's true. And I love, it's so interesting to hear people on the right push this away like it's no big deal, right? They get so upset if somebody on social media calls them, a communist or a fascist, right? But yet you have young Republicans in this group that are using the N-word and using some of the most grotesque language possible, and they say it's not a big deal. I find that to be very interesting, Steve. And again, I repeat what I said earlier. When you have these dopey kids, white kids that are Republicans, young Republicans, as they would call themselves, who are influenced by Fox News, OAN, Newsmax, the Charlie Kirk types, this is what they become. They become racist. They are disgusting individuals. And they are hateful people. But they weren't born this way. Just like a lot of racists in this country usually have racist members of their family. It's not how they were raised. That's how these idiots are raised. They are influenced by the bigots on the far right, and this is what they have become. And by the way, I hope every single one of those people are exposed, and I hope if they have a job, they get fired. It's okay to have different opinions. It's okay to name call, have different opinions. Fine. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about openly using the N-word to describe black people. I'm talking about using some of the most grotesque language in the world to try to defend Hitler. That's what I'm talking about here. I hope they all lose their jobs. Remember all the MAGA Republicans on the far right that wanted people on the left to lose their jobs because they weren't saying so many nice things about Charlie Kirk? Where are they now? Where are they now? If you use the N-word to describe a black person, why are they not calling your employer? Why don't they? It doesn't seem like they have a problem with that behavior, though, do they, sir?
Like I said, and then J.D. Vance's response to it, that didn't, you ain't winning no black voters over that. So.
Yeah, but they'll get angry when Joe Biden says you ain't black if you're not voting for me. They'll go up in arms for that. But if a bunch of young Republicans describe black people by using the N-word, oh, it's just a chat. Don't worry about it. I mean, these people have no bottom. It is absolutely disgusting. And let me be very clear. Any one of those people in this young Republicans chat that use the N-word to describe black people tried to, in a sense, defend Hitler. I hope we find out where they work. And I hope they lose their jobs. I hope they lose their jobs. I hope they get thrown out of college. This is not about freedom of speech. This is about consequences for your words. Now, if you're on a public sidewalk and you're saying that stuff, police cannot arrest you, or they shouldn't. The government cannot get involved. But that doesn't mean there aren't consequences for your words. You represent a company, for example. Let's just say you're 19 or 20 years old or 18 years old. I don't know. You work at a local library. You work at a gas station. Are those the types of people that you want working for you? So I wish nothing but the worst as far as job related for these young Republicans. I hope they get thrown out of college. But my belief is that if they have this belief system inside of them, then chances are their family probably Trump supporters. Their family probably holds those same beliefs. That's why we got to do something about this. We got to stop this. Yes, we do have freedom of speech, but if you're going to use those types of terms and you're going to have that hatred in your heart, I want to know where you work, and I won't shop there. I won't go there. That's what we can do as Americans, I think. But again, as I'm being reminded by a lot of people on the chat, and you're right. Yes, there were some young people in their early 20s, but there were people as old as 40 that were in this chat. So it's really mind-boggling to me, that if they're comfortable texting each other that in this group chat, imagine what they say to each other in person. I mean, it's really grotesque. But when you look up to the Stephen Millers of the world and Donald Trump becomes president of the United States, should we be surprised? We have a clan cult in this country, and they follow Donald Trump and the Trump administration. It's not make America great again. It's make America white again, Steve. I'll give you the last word, my friend. Go right ahead.
I'm not even surprised at J.D. Vance's response. After all, there were white nationalists and white supremacists marching through Cincinnati this summer, and he didn't say anything about it.
No, unfortunately, I'm not surprised. But should we be surprised? Apparently, the people are saying there's an echo in my voice. I don't know. We'll try to fix that. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Again, 702-221-7283. Some members of the chat are saying that there is an echo. So we'll try to work on that. Again, the number to call 702-221-7283. Phone calls. And let's see, who do we have next year? I believe our next phone call is Julie. Julie is next up on PTL. Hi, Julie.
Hey.
Hi, Julie. What's going on?
I really just in the chat. So those young men, they were joking about rape.
Yep.
Oh my.
They were.
I didn't know about this part. Like I don't watch the news. I have a news app I use, but I have not heard about this.
Yeah.
And I'm disgusted as someone who was raped many times by the same person.
I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah.
I have no words right now.
And then
I was
Republicans.
just about something else, but I'm upset right now.
MAGA Republican. Well, you have a right to be upset. I am too. It's despicable. And there are MAGA Republicans on social media and across the nation are saying, I don't care about this. And then they'll bring up something violent that happened. And they'll be like, why should I care about this? Well, we all should care about it. And unfortunately, the people that are saying they don't care about this type of language are probably the same people that are okay with it, that condone it. It's disgusting.
The pain of being raped is not something to be joking about.
Right, and
it feels like
of
you're
course
being
it's not.
torn apart
Okay,
from the inside.
but think about this. I agree with you, my dear, but think about this, okay? Who is the president of the United States? These people voted.
A racist?
These people voted for somebody who's an adjudicated abuser, and it's not surprising to me that many of these people are okay with it. And just because we're talking about it and we're outraged about it doesn't mean we don't care about violence in this country. It doesn't mean we don't care about terrible people doing terrible things. Two could be correct at the same time. I find these young people, and I shouldn't say young because some of these people are upwards of 40 years old. That's not young, okay? You're a grown-up, you're an adult, so I shouldn't use the term young. But they call themselves this, I don't know, young Republicans group. These are terrible people. These are horrific people with a lot of hate in their heart. But again, I go back to saying what I said earlier. When you watch Newsmax and OAN and you listen to Charlie Kirk for years, this is what you become. And I shouldn't use the term young because it'd be one thing if these were 13 and 14-year-olds, which, by the way, they're not. That would still be old enough to know right from wrong and not use this kind of language. But you give a 12 or 13-year-old a little bit more leeway than you would somebody that's a 35-year-old. This is disgusting. It's despicable. And if you want to talk about being doxxed, I highly support it. We should know where these people work. We should know if they will continue to be employed. Your words have consequences. The government can't get involved. They can't be arrested unless there are direct threats, which I don't believe there were. But it doesn't mean that your words do not have consequences. Going back to the YouTube super chat, Nim says the right wants the left to disavow everything. But when it comes to these young Republicans, it's just locker room talk, gross behavior. Well, you're right. You're right, Nim. Remember when Donald Trump bragged about grabbing women by the genitalia? And the first excuse that Donald Trump made was, it's just locker room talk. That's not a man. A man who gets caught saying something like that, I'm sorry. I said some terrible things. I hurt some people. I'm very sorry for what I've said. I need to be better. Instead, Donald Trump not only made excuses and said it was locker room talk, but the next day he said, I don't even think that's me on there. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Jason. Jason is next up on PTL. Hi, Jason.
What's up, my brother? How are you?
Hey, doing good, Jason. What's on your mind today?
Number one, be safe out there when you go.
Thank you.
Be safe.
Thank you.
And number two, I need to express this to you. I hope everybody brings their phones and cameras out there because they already told us the plan when they had the riot on the January. When they all stormed the Capitol, all they kept on saying was Antifa. There was FBI informants and plots. Now that they own it, now that they have the FBI and all that, we got to look for the agitators that might be from our own government. So I pray that everybody breaks out their phones and make sure when they try to say that, oh, we were rioting and all that, we have everybody upload so we can go, yeah, show us where it was because we could point out the agitators. That's number one. Number two, I think that was these kids were raised to hate. Because when you say you would love to rape somebody or watch somebody burn in the oven or bring back slavery, especially how vicious slavery was, these people were full of hate and their parents are full of hate. And so, Brian, please, just be careful because I'm telling you, there's something sinister about it when all they're trying to say is Antifa, Hamas, and criminals. Right. I'm telling you right now, they're going to have ICE there. They're going to have the FBI there. They're going to try to antagonize as much as possible. And I guarantee you, Turning Point USA is going to be there with some morons trying to push people and press their buttons. But please, Brian, be safe.
I will. Jason, which are you planning on going to one of these rallies on Saturday, Jason?
Where is it going to? Is one in Vegas?
Yeah. So my understanding is there's one in Henderson. I think there's one in Vegas as well. I think there's going to be a couple here in town. I haven't decided which one I'm going to go to yet, but I definitely be going to one of them. And then I was supposed to be in DC, but my trip is postponed till November 8th. Instead of going to the No Kings rallies in DC, I'll be right here in Las Vegas. So I'll be going to one of them.
I'll probably show up to one of them because you know what? If I don't do it now, then I can't look at my kid's face and go, if this country go to pot, it's not my fault when I didn't do nothing. So I'm definitely going to participate because I can't let my country go in the toilet because some orange turd.
And let me be very clear. People like you and me that are going to be going to these protests, we don't hate America. We love America. We just hate what's happening. We hate the Trump administration and where this country's headed. That doesn't mean we hate America. There's a big difference.
Brian, let me tell you something so you really understand. When Whitney Houston sung the American anthem, I cried and had pride in the American anthem and all that. But once Donald Trump came into office, it made me deter from all that. I love this. Listen, this is a great, great country. And it could have been even greater. And everybody would have had health care and everybody would have made a decent living. We would have been okay. But because we keep on catering to the rich and the evil, this is where we are.
Unfortunately, I agree with you, Jason, 150%. Maybe I'll see you out there at one of these No Kings rallies, and I do appreciate your phone call. Listen, if you're MAGA and you want to call in, as I've said before and I say again, we're talking about a lot of different topics today. Of course, the No Kings rallies that are going to be Saturday all over the country. MAGA Republicans are making it out to be a hate America rally, which that couldn't be further from the truth. You've got Mike Johnson that's still lying about this government shutdown. And Caroline Leavitt painting the case that the Democrat Party, the main constituency, is made up of Hamas terrorists. I mean, you couldn't make a more despicable statement than that. It's just idiotic, and she's a complete despicable human being and a moron and a liar and every other name in the book. She's just a horrible human being. We've lost decency in the White House. We lost it a long time ago, unfortunately, ever since Donald Trump got into politics. And where we're headed right now, it's very, very scary. But listen, if you're a Donald Trump supporter right now and you think Donald Trump's doing a good job, you have no problem with these ICE agents all over the country, and you have these people who are not identifying themselves and these arrests that are being made that are unconstitutional. And you believe Donald Trump when he said peace in the Middle East, the war is over. Now, I knew that was a bunch of baloney from the beginning. I knew that was a lie, right? I knew that wasn't true. But a couple days, Hamas has already broken the ceasefire agreement. It is absolutely ridiculous. And we are also learning right now, and I knew this was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. John Bolton has officially been indicted. This is a retribution tour for Donald Trump. If it's not Letitia James, and by the way, I'm not a big John Bolton fan, but he's been very opinionated and outspoken about the Trump administration. So now you have John Bolton that's indicted. You've got Letitia James that has been indicted. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just the beginning. I told you this was going to be a retribution tour for 4 years. I told you this would be a retribution tour. How could anybody be okay with this? They're the ones who talked about the Biden administration weaponizing the DOJ when Donald Trump point blank said he's telling Pam Bondi to indict these people. It's just such an embarrassment. Let's go to Terry. Terry's next up on PTL. Hi, Terry.
Hi, good afternoon, Brian. How are you?
Hey, good, Terry. What's on your mind today?
First of all, I want to address Dan here for a minute. Dan, I don't know you, and nor would I want to know you. Why are you unable to comprehend the facts that Brian gives you? I just don't understand what your level of comprehension is here. The war is not over. And I know a couple of MAGA illiterates that I had to actually say the same thing to, Brian. The war is not over because they thought the war was over because the prisoners were released. And that happened. But that doesn't mean the war is over. And in the negotiations, I think they had a whole laundry list of conditions that have to be met before the war is over. And they haven't met all of those conditions. So, Dan, come with your facts.
Well, that's the thing. I think it comes down to two different things. Number one, they can't admit that they're wrong. And number two, they're very unintelligent people. They're very ill-informed and uneducated and stupid. I mean, I'm just going to call it for what it is. They watch their OAN and Newsmax and their Jesse Waters, and they think they're smart, and they're not. They're the opposite of that, and they're stubborn. I know a lot of stupid people that can admit when they're wrong, right? Nothing to do with politics, right? I know people that say some stupid things, and then when I correct them, they're like, oh, Brian, you're right. I'm wrong. My bad. And I'm like, okay. But like, they can't even admit it, right? They can't admit that the earth is round and not flat. How can you have an honest debate or conversation with anybody like that? Really, it's impossible. You can't.
And that's the frustration with when Dan comes on and some of these other MAGAs. You can't even have a conversation with them.
I agree. You can't.
And last thing I want to say, Brian, is before, I don't want to take up too much time.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Johnson, we the people are not going to take your bait and name calling. I'm putting him on ignore.
You know what? That's probably not a bad idea. I can't believe I'm going to do that. And thank you, by the way, for the call, my dear. I appreciate you. I can't believe I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to reward a Trump supporter. You ready for this? If you are going to be in D.C., and Tim Pool is your hero, which I'm sure some of them that listening are, and you plan on being in D.C. on November 8th, I will be there as well. I'll do it for anybody. But if you're planning on, even if you're a Trump supporter, if you plan on being there, so the Culture War podcast I'm going to be a part of in front of a live audience. It's going to be in Washington, D.C. on November 8th. If you would like a pair of tickets, please give Numchuck a call right now. I'm going to do rapid fire first caller that wants the tickets. If you want the tickets right now, give us a call. I'll get you a pair of tickets to the Culture War podcast at 702-221-7283. Let's go to Jim. Jim is next up on PTL. What's up, Jim?
Hey, Brian, how's it going, man? I love your work.
Thank you.
I'm pushing 70. I've been self-employed. I retired at 50, and I can tell you why the maggots behave the way they do, at least the ones that don't have any money. They have to have a reason for why their own failures in life happened. And Trump has given them a bunch of outs rather than taking personal responsibility for their own lack of effort or whatever. And every downturn in their life, that doesn't come back to self-inflection. It comes back to who can I blame? Mm-hmm. And Trump has been the guy to give them someone to blame. And I believe that's the main attraction to these guys.
Yeah, you know, what's interesting is every single time something goes wrong within the Trump administration, and let's be honest, a lot has gone wrong, they never take blame for anything. But that's the Republican Party in general, is it not? Am I wrong in saying that? I mean, Republicans never take responsibility for anything. There certainly is no fiscal responsibility there. And every single time something goes wrong, they blame it on a DEI hire. They blame it on Joe Biden. They blame it on Pete Buttigieg. They blame the radical left for everything and anything that happens. You could have a Trump supporter going into a church, executing a bunch of people, and they'll blame it on an attack on Christianity. But yet the second a 22-year-old executes Charlie Kirk, they'll blame it on the left. It's the left's fault. It's the radical left. Notice how they use the term they all the time. They wanted to take out Donald Trump. They wanted to take out Charlie Kirk. what these imbeciles, and that's what they are, they're just a bunch of idiots. The first person who tried to take out Donald Trump was a 22-year-old registered Republican from a Trump family. The second person who tried to execute Donald Trump was somebody who voted for Donald Trump back in 2016. The person who executed Charlie Kirk came from a very conservative, staunch conservative, Republican, Trump-supporting family. But yet they want to say they tried to take out Trump and blame the entire half of the country that might be Democrat. These people are such liars, and they can't spell the word fact.
You'd think they'd want to maybe reflect a little bit and maybe be a little bit remorseful that they didn't finish more than the 8th grade. And I think that the fact that they drive trucks, and there's nothing wrong with driving trucks and work labor jobs, that's fine. But you got to take responsibility for that. It's you that chose that path for your life. Someone didn't make you do that. The Republican Party is not helping you get any better with your situation. So take responsibility on your own shoulders and just admit that you didn't do all that you could to make your own life better.
I agree with you, but the entire Republican Party will not take that approach. They won't own anything. Even when it comes to this government shutdown, they have the White House, the House, and the Senate. They blame Democrats. They call it the Schumer shutdown, when all Democrats are trying to do is to keep health care in place for those who need it, the most vulnerable people in this country. That's all they're trying to do, and that's a good thing. But somehow they're saying that Democrats forced them to shut down the government when Mike Johnson keeps telling Republicans to stay on vacation. They won't even sit down and have a reasonable discussion with Democrats, but yet they say it's the Schumer shutdown. They are a bunch of lying scumbags. That's what they are. That's what the Republican Party has turned into.
Yep. One last note. I was precinct captain in Las Vegas for Bernie for the 2016 and 2020 primaries. And, Nevada came in for Bernie each time, and that's when the Democratic Party panicked and did everything they could to block him.
Yeah, well, I think...
And so I think
that's
the Democratic Party has to take some responsibility.
Oh, I agree. I don't disagree with that. I think Bernie Sanders would have been a hell of a president. I think he's a little bit too old now, but I like Bernie Sanders. I think his views might be a little bit more to the left than where I stand, but I would vote for Bernie in a heartbeat. I think he's a good, decent man. I completely agree with you. Thank you for your work, sir. We had Bernie Sanders on the show about 6 months ago. Bernie came on. Let's go to Pam. Pam is next up on PTL. What's up, Pam?
Hi, Brian. I was just listening to you guys today, and about the rallies that are happening on Saturday, they're usually like super organized. So what everybody needs to do is just follow the leaders of the place that they're going to. They'll keep everybody in line, and if anybody gets out of line, people just need to talk that person down or make sure that they get them set off to the side so that there's no problems.
Yeah.
Because most times they're just really super, they're organized by teachers most of the time. Yeah. And those guys keep everybody in line. I've been to several.
I'm not worried about that.
There have never been any problems.
No, so listen, I agree with you. I'm not worried about that. What I'm worried about is agitators, Trump supporters that are going to come in there and try to.
Right, but that's what I mean.
Yeah.
If there's agitators there, people need to it's like when you have somebody acting up in class. Everybody should circle them and just say, hey, you got to go or whatever because you can't be here. This is a peaceful protest.
People have to do their due diligence. Like I said before, and I'll say again, if you see something strange or weird, or you see something that even could be a threat, don't hesitate. Tell somebody, tell the authorities, let somebody know, do your due diligence, and don't waste your time by getting into it with someone that might be a little off their rocker and a little crazy. I think Saturday is going to be a success. There's going to be some incidents.
I think it's going to be a great time. And the only bad thing is like out in California, they're talking about, J.D. Vance is going to have a spectacular missile launch at Camp Pendleton, and they're closing down Highway 5.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a problem. It's things like that. It's things like that the administration is doing to try to thwart this no king.
They all are. They're calling it. They don't want people to show up. They're calling it a Hate America rally, which couldn't be further from the truth. I think it's the opposite. I think I would call it the Love America rally because people hate what Donald Trump is doing to this country, my dear. I do appreciate your phone call, and I think you're right. I think everything's going to be okay. People need to do their due diligence out there, but I think there's going to be these protests all over the country. I'm going to be there. although I don't know which one in the state of Nevada I'm going to. I was going to be in Washington, D.C. And by the way, for those of you that have already won tickets to the event that was supposed to be this weekend, where I'm supposed to be debating Tim Pool, Alex Stein, who's going to be joining us on the show on Monday, by the way, and Myron Gaines, that has been pushed to November 8th because of these No Kings protests. So it's all good. We just postponed it a few weeks, and I am looking forward to having that discussion with them. And as I mentioned, Alex Stein's going to be joining us on the show Monday, so you know that's going to be interesting. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Gary. Gary is next up on PTL. What's going on, Gary?
I just got one thing to say. I'm having the same feeling I had before January 6th. I knew what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think this Saturday is going to be worse.
So in what way? What do you think is? Why do you say that?
I think Trump is going to go totally nuts and bring in. I mean, he's going to start. He's going to start a new civil war. Now it's already started.
I hope not.
He is going.
So what do you think he's going to do? You think he's going to call in the National Guard to like all over the country? Like, what do you think he's going to do?
Guard, anybody, any troops that can get to work for him. There's some of them that don't want to work for him no more.
Right.
But I mean, just anybody that will do all this illegal bull.
Well, here's what I'm more worried about. I'm more worried about D.C. and some of the larger cities having these rallies. I'm not worried necessarily about some of the smaller cities, but when you have groups of people, and listen, I don't know how many people are going to be in D.C., but I would imagine at a minimum tens of thousands, maybe more. When you have that amount of people, and it's a very emotional situation, listen, I don't know. You might be right. I hope you're not right, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. But, it can't deter people from getting out there and their voices being heard.
Have you seen that today he had bombers off the California coast in San Diego?
Yeah, I saw that as well.
B-52 bombers.
Listen, these are weird times we're living in, my friend. Okay, these are.
That's what I'm saying. I think Saturday Trump is going to lose it. He's going to make history.
He's lost it a long time ago, my friend. But
I mean worse than January 6th.
Well, I hope not. January 6th was pretty bad. I certainly hope not. It cannot deter us from getting out there and letting our voices being heard. It can't stop us from doing that. And I know I'm going to be out there on Saturday with some friends and as Americans, we have the First Amendment right to protest peacefully. And that's what we need to continue to do. And we need to call out what this administration is. I don't say this lightly. This is a dictatorship. This is an oligarchy. It's as simple as that. And I am not going to sit here and think otherwise. That's exactly what we are facing here as a nation. And that's why Saturday is so important. This is important. Let your voices be heard. Doesn't mean we have to be violent. I don't want you to be violent. But it doesn't mean that our voices shouldn't be heard, because they should. There's a reason why so many MAGA Republicans are calling this upcoming No Kings rally a Hate America rally. Because they're afraid. They're afraid there's going to be a large turnout. They're afraid that there's going to be a lot of people out there and that it's going to make a difference. They're afraid. And you could have a couple dozen idiots in Portland, and you could have a couple, these MAGA reporters on the right that are going to try to get you going and try to get you to do something, try to get you to break the law. Don't do it. My advice to you is don't even engage. Just pretend like they're not there. And if you see something strange, contact the authorities. Tell somebody. This portion of the program is brought to you by Jackson's Bar and Grill, located at Flamingo and Jones, home of the Pass the Puck contest, where you could win up to $750 in free slot play during Vegas Golden Knights home games. Also, every Sunday, a chance to earn $50 in free slot play by earning 300 points. Check them out, Jackson's Bar and Grill, located at Flamingo and Jones. I will be back at it tomorrow. I was supposed to be taking the day off tomorrow. I was supposed to be flying out to D.C., but that podcast that I'm going to be doing with Tim Pool, the Culture Wars podcast, has been postponed to November 8th because of the No Kings protests that are going to be in D.C. at that same time we were supposed to be doing the show. So it's going to be in front of a live audience November 8th. And as I mentioned before, if you've won tickets on this show, your tickets are still good for November 8th. I also have the Un-F America Tour. Z from the Un-F America Tour is going to be coming in studio on Monday as well. So that's going to be interesting. And we're going to be talking to her. And I have this event at UNLV. It is this month, the 22nd, this Wednesday. Myself, I will be there debating Trump supporters. Destiny will be there debating Trump supporters. Robbie Roadsteamer, fresh off getting arrested the other day in Portland, he's going to be there. We're all going to be having a good time, and look forward to meeting all of you, the listeners out there. So stay safe, everybody. Check out my website, pushingthelimits.live. If you would like to support what I do, you see that icon in the corner there. Use your cell phone. Takes you right to the website, which is pushingthelimits.live. And we accept donations, $5, $10, $20 a month. Whatever you can afford, we so greatly appreciate it. We also sell merchandise on there as well. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout.